Chris Morris.
Good morning. So I've got to get this helium out of my lungs. That's the best thing about children. They need these balloons full of helium. Hello. Yeah.
It's a real charity, and I just love the bit where I was offering a trip round the block on because I got this brand new wonderful moped, and that went down absolutely fantastic. Thanks to everybody who gave all their money and time. Children in Need. We'll let you know about the Children in Need auctions a little bit later on. Apparently, you can go buy your own there. And what else we got here? We got a little bit of celebrity gossip for you. And Rambo's secret is out, apparently. He was once a trainee beautician, yet Sylvester Stallone was thrown out of a New York beauty school at the age of 19. Actually happened to me. I was thrown out of a beauty school once. Didn't know you weren't allowed to look through the keyhole in the girls' changing room. I see Kylie Minogue is to turn on the Christmas lights in London. No problem. If I was a Christmas light, I would sure be turned on by Kylie. Wake up, WC on the radio.
I'll ask you rather quietly about this latest craze for warping cats.
It's very unfair.
Why is it so?
Well, I mean, I'm a lover of animals, you see.
And you hate to see a cat, and a good cat, being warped.
Oh, yes, I do.
What effect do you think it has on the cat?
Oh, well, he'd generally run away.
But then he'd start turning corners, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
What can we do about it?
Well, of course, it's like everything else, like the same they're doing with the elephants, shooting them and all that sort of thing, you know.
They're warping cats to make profit.
That's right. Well, it's all for money, and they just think money is the answer to everything. But
so they just go and warp cats, and other people will pay and make films and musicals.
That's right. But the secret of happiness, you see, is not in money at all. It's in a contented mind.
Of course, the problem also for the cat is that once it's been warped, it could be mistaken for something else.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you think you could mistake a warped cat for if you saw a warped cat, quite severely warped?
Small tiger, I suppose, because they don't have water.
Coat hanger?
Yeah, true.
One of them got sold in a bunch of bananas the other day.
I shouldn't doubt that.
It was so warped.
Yeah.
Of course, a slight degree of curvature probably wouldn't put it off that much.
No, you're right there. But
so how much do you think we could curve it, do you think?
3 inches.
It'd notice after 3 inches?
Yeah, that's just quite true.
But it wouldn't notice one?
No, not on one, no. No, 2 to 3.
What do you think of this idea to make a few less large things?
If we're going to start making larger things, keep on stopping everything, there's going to be a lot more trouble.
So they're getting in the way?
Yes.
So you'd agree with making a few less large things?
I would, because you start doing that, then that starts aggro with every other people.
I see. What large things should we be allowed still?
Well, people are on about smoking. I don't see why you don't smoking. They're on about eggs. They don't want you want. They stopped the eggs. All this. Now it's out, isn't it?
What about large things? What large things should we be allowed?
The good thing to keep is what they had years ago.
Which would be what?
It could be all right.
So how many more large things should we make before the end of the century?
Well, I'd say 10.
Broken, but that only makes it more fun to rattle. Haggard, sleep-deprived, tortured and submissive. Yes, it's your very own Children in Need telethon producer. You can do with it what you want. After Friday's orgy of incompetence, it's little more than a husk. It's had to face not only the endless cavalcade of selfless celebrities who've offered their services in a free and non-image-enhancing gesture of otherwise you'd never know I was still alive generosity, it's also had to cope with Sue Cook. Continuing her game attempt to put Mogadon out of business, her repertoire of immortal catchphrases like... the auto cue's broken. Her insatiable appetite for the word and her general tendency to be slightly less spontaneous than the Queen's speech. Remember, lovey, no ad-libs, they're bloody awful. Don't say please. Don't say... No, new total, yeah, that's right. Stick with the total.
We've got a new total now.
Oh, my God, she's boring. Send the voltage to her arms, send the voltage to her arms.
Roger's doing in the marquee at the moment.
No, not the marquee, you stupid horse. Don't say Don't say no. Yes, your very own Children in Need producer, plus the only emotional language it understands, which is to weep, sob, scratch deep open wounds in your arms when you hear the words poor little child, terminal, best friend was a dog, run over, laugh outrageously when someone splits their trousers or says naughty things like willy or poo, and burst into spontaneous and loud applause at the magical rune, the round table.
Why doesn't? Why doesn't? Press. Just work. Go, goose a goat.
Pretty obvious what happened to that one, really.
What to? Chris Morris.
Okay, helium weather, here we go.
Helium weather, temperatures today, I know it's all gone. Give me more. Damn it, Dennis Hopper, where are you now? Temperatures today are going to be 14 Celsius, that's 59 Fahrenheit. Yeah, there's still a little bit there, isn't there? It's going to be dry and bright for most of the day. The shower probability is nil, and the wind chill factor is slight. Got there.
We're looking today at the messy business of worm coursing.
Oh, I think it's cruel.
You don't believe in coursing worms?
No, I don't agree with that.
How can we stop its spread?
Well, I really do not know. Get to the source of it, I suppose, and,
What sort of people do you think they are?
well, I should think it's foreigners.
That go chasing about madly
Well, I
after
should
worms,
think so,
flapping their
because,
arms and going, ah.
Yes, I should think so. Must be foreigners, I should think.
They are the sort of people that would set an amputee starling or a pinioned passerine in pursuit of the worms.
Yes.
What would you say to somebody if you saw them just about to indulge in worm coursing?
Well, I should report them to the police.
Quietly?
Yes.
Very quietly?
Well, I mean, it's all according to how far it went.
It's been suggested that if we made worms rather faster, then they might be able to get out of trouble.
Yes, they would get out of the way, yes.
How fast would they have to go, do you think?
Well, say as fast as a bicycle.
Playing your tennis at grassroots level to give your opponent a few points. Neck Stilton. Hoping that near things don't bend over and suck your brains out. Mouth-to-mouth regurgitation. Freaking out the mudguards by blow-drying their earth. I woke this morning face down in the trench I'd been digging for my latest horizontal dog project, and I realized that I have not yet given you the benefit of my collection of cash-chill advice slips. They're terrifically useful. Here's one. Don't dive into elephants. It's deuce dark in there, and the light switch is often broken in 3. And if you're in a brawl and somebody smashes you in the face with a chair, don't fall over. You might hurt your head on something nearby. You know, I go to that machine about 20 times a day. The only problem is that every time the slips come out, so do all those infernal blue and brown bits of crinkly paper with scribbly bits on. Damn junk mail. Luckily, there's usually a helpful bod in the queue who takes care of them for me. Actually, those slips are the only good things about the bank these days. I mean, damn it, they threw me out of my house last week. And somebody called the repo man is coming for my car today. Why? Oh, never mind. Having a good long rest and a short bad cake. Feeling below par until he goes ape. Brendan Bubble Bobble Daps that haven't been invented yet. Wrestling with your conscience, then suddenly running away so everyone wonders why it's out of breath and wearing shorts. Whip sincerity with an audible moan.
Paul Jones, he's barking. The guy is stark, staring, raving mad. You know when I saw him about a couple of weeks ago, and I bumped into him on a Sunday afternoon. He was warming up for his program by hanging upside down in his office, and he said, hey Chris, I've got a stomach oyster. What do you mean you got a stomach oyster? You mean an ulcer? Now I've got a stomach oyster, Chris. So, he wanted to explain this brilliant party game where, what you do is basically you pass a live oyster from mouth to mouth of all the people at the party, and the loser is the person whose mouth it dies in. And I got a stomach oyster, Chris, he said. Apparently he lost 78 times in one night. Definitely kangaroo loose in the top paddock, Paul Jones.
Hey, could I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is it a pound, half a pound, a pound, or a pound?
A pound.
So sad this happened. I can't. You won't believe this, and you don't have to really at all. I'm just going to spin it as a yarn, really, just fill up a bit of time. But I actually got up very early this morning to record an extra special star prize to give away, and I spent ages putting the thing together. And I was just before the program started dubbing it across onto a final tape, wiping all the other tapes in the process, and just in the process of editing it down, and I found that the tape machine wasn't working, so I've just ruined the whole thing. What do you do in circumstances like this? Luckily, I mean, it's almost as bad as writer's block, isn't it? And luckily I brought my writer's block with me and put it in my mouth. It makes me go.
And now, Wayne Carr, Hypertalk and Star. When he speaks, the world listens.
Wake up. He's the fastest dog in the world, you know it. He's the best by far. Wake up.
Okay, good morning and wonderful wake up. WC on the radio, just back to be with you. And great, beautiful morning it is too. And we're checking out some of the showbiz gossip. And indeed, we're going to be reviewing one of the the local, national, and international top of the hour with the weather forecast coming up on past our time check. And indeed, the silent sound competition. Okay, film review in just a second. But first of all, let's have a look at the showbiz gossip. I see here the TV presenter, Muriel Gray. I've ever wondered, by the way, what's so great about being a TV presenter. I used to do it myself. Was invited along just to Granada the other day, TV rentals, to present a couple of lucky winners with the television. No problem there, but Muriel Gray is one of them. And she stunned fans last week by saying, I'm a racist, I hate the English. Well, obviously she doesn't know what she's talking about, because being racist means you actually like the English, doesn't it? And people always accuse me of being a racist anyway when I'm talking about, I'm taking the mick out of darkies and packies and wogs. So obviously she doesn't know what she's on about. And anyway, being a racist is quite a funny thing, and Muriel Gray is never funny. Okay, I see in other of the showbiz gossip too, we've got Jason Fever-swept Ann Twerp, whoever she is. It looks like a place actually, with fans travelling 300 miles to see their idol. Well, that's not fair. I'm not going to read this one anymore, because I know Jason very well, and he works pretty damn hard. Pretty unfair to call him that. Another showbiz gossip for you. In America, Cash solves 3,500 crimes. Great to see the crime wave there being brought to its knees by the legendary country singer. He used to be so wild, and now he's obviously got a heart of gold and helping out solving crimes. Wonderful. What a wonderful guy. We see here that Tom Cruise says he's so affected by the state of the world's air, he's gone green. Well, obviously a very sensitive bloke there, obviously a bit weedy. I hope he's got a good doctor. Doesn't sound like a too nice condition. Hope you get well soon. And I see here that my old friend Jimmy Page got a slacking last week for sacking his housekeeper. You know, he used to pay her £15 a week for 15 years, never gave her a single pay rise. She had the nerve to complain. She was sacked she's complaining about unfair dismissal. I mean, it's not everyone that gets to be Jimmy Page's housekeeper, is it? I mean, you know, you can make a killing in that job, according to my best friends, who say that the mere dust in Jimmy Page's house is said to have a street value of 150 quid a gram. I don't know why. I guess it's just because it's dust from a famous person's house, you know. Anyway, he's a great bloke too. I just love that guitar stuff. I love Smoke on the Water. What a great riff. And also, Jimmy Page, his sister Elaine, has got a great voice too. I love her. Okay, I've got to tell you about this weird film I saw last week. I was going in to see Back to the Future 2, and I wandered into the cinema. I must have got the wrong one, because I went and saw this weird science fiction thing with all these blokes running around and round like Robin Hood or something, fighting each other with bows and arrows. It was like one of those history, really boring history things, like, Blackadder. And it was called Head Riv. Had this little weedy, sort of slightly tubby little bloke, looked like James Cagney, running around. He was called Harry. And every time he started talking, there was this huge orchestra playing in the background, really loud. It was really weird. It wouldn't have mattered, actually, if they drowned out what he was saying, because he didn't make any sense at all. He was sort of complete gibberish. Certainly wasn't English, and there were no subtitles. It was a really useless film. And it was so dull. Mind you, I did stay to the end because there was a chick in it who looked like she was going to get her kit off, but she never did. So I'd avoid Head Riv like the plague, because it's a terrible, terrible movie. Really El Cheapo. No special effects at all. Absolutely hopeless. I think the British cinema is going right down the toilet, and you don't even get to find out who this head guy is. Useless film. Don't go and see it. Head Riv, it's far too long, and it's just terrible. Just terrible. Wake up WC on the radio, and we'll play one of the greatest ever rock and roll tracks. This, going all the way back to the early 70s, is the crucial sound of Free.
We're looking today at the issue of clam cooperatives.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's based on the theory, rather unsurprisingly, of safety in numbers. For example, 6.
Good, yeah.
Can you think of an ideal number of clams which would be able to protect themselves?
Oh, it doesn't.
They say that unless the clam sticks together now, it could be out by the end of the century.
Oh, dear.
It's interesting, isn't it, that clams are not often brought to mind as one of the endangered species.
It's not a popular fish, is it?
Can you think of a suitable password for a clam cooperative?
Oh, I don't know. Stick.
Stick.
Yeah.
What about, because it's underwater, swish stick?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, swish stick, yeah.
What do you think of the latest proposals for breathing out a little less often?
Breathing out a little less often?
Yes.
What, do you mean physically breathing?
Yeah. There's a small way of contributing to saving the world.
True, if we get everybody to do it.
But that would be tricky, you're saying?
I would think you're barking up a sticky wicket there.
Yes, but let's just say in almost a dream world we'd managed to get the message across. How less often should we breathe out?
Going to the ideal world situation, if we could get it down by half, it would be...
And say for every 20 times you breathe in, how many times should you breathe out?
About 10.
Would you stick on 10?
I'll stick on 10, yeah.
What do you think of mind subsidence?
In what aspect?
Well, it's after the research of Dr. Ed Scott Smaller, who reckons that heavy thoughts weigh down the mind.
Oh, I agree.
They actually cause the mind to sink further towards the floor.
Depending what the thought is.
Can you think of a thought which would make it do that?
An aggressive thought.
An aggressive thought pushes the mind how far?
4 foot.
So it's a pretty frightening syndrome to combat.
I would think so, definitely, yeah.
How can we best do that?
Take up something like yoga, practice thought of mind.
To stop you becoming a groove head.
Certainly, think clearly, positive thought.
Because otherwise you see people occasionally with a sort of groove down the top of their head.
Yes, easier said than done, I know, but I think with a bit of training, it could at least help to stable you.
One has to be careful about how heavy the thoughts are that one deals with.
Well, yes, but this all comes with practice, I'm sure.
So a practiced man could deal with what sort of weight of thought, do you think?
Many thoughts.
What sort of weight in terms of pounds?
7 or 8 pound in weight.
Stupards, who are stupid people who write letters to tabloid newspapers. This is a genuine letter. Dear Sir, when I saw a tiny spider in the washing up water, I eased it onto a matchstick and put it on a shelf to dry. Then I put on my specs and realized it was a tea leaf. Here's another one. My boyfriend's mum didn't like me. He hated me going in his house. One evening she returned early and I dashed out the back door forgetting my handbag. Later, when he asked what was for supper, his mum said, "How about handbag and chips?" He'd hidden my bag in her fridge. And here's another one. My boyfriend was driving me home after our second date, and I was desperate to spend a penny. He stopped, and I nipped through the hedge into a pile of manure. We drove home with all the windows open.
Listen to the show, it'll really make you laugh. It'll make you go ho ho, it's a program of two arse. It'll make you go off off, it's a program of two arse. It'll make you go off off.
It's a totally unique memento of these changing times, noteworthy not only for its historical pertinence, but also for its highly risible contents. The Broadcast Journalist Guide to Reporting the Demise of the Iron Curtain, including a dictionary of words and phrases that will forever stamp your name in the minds of those who see or hear your epoch-making report.
It went up in a day, it came down in a day, but whoever dreamed today would be the day. This hour would be the hour. Blow winds of change, crack your cheeks, they seem to be saying as they swarm in their thousands from every corner, some for the duration, others to take photos, and many just to see what it was like. Seldom, if ever, has such a multitude of journalists converged on one place so densely. I counted them out, I counted them back.
Plus, a second-by-second guide to keeping your audience up to date with the very latest changes.
This is Peter Porter reporting.
Our reporter Peter Porter there reporting live this morning, and we'll keep you up to date with the very latest developments as they happen. But now with the time at 16, and we interrupt this time check to go straight back now for a live report from our reporter Peter Porter. Peter, can you tell us what's happened in the last 12...
Well, yes, I've had about one sip of coffee and taken about 3 breaths.
Yes, it must be breathtaking stuff indeed.
Well, I can't confirm that at the moment, but it does look pretty much that way.
Peter, can you tell us what the atmosphere's like?
Well, it's about 80% nitrogen, 16% oxygen, 4% carbon.
Our reporter Peter Porter. Now news of the Prime... And we interrupt this word to go straight back now live to our reporter, Peter Porter. Peter, can you tell us what's...
Bloody hell!
Plus, handy hints on that absolute obligation to charge every dispatch with that atmospheric, in the thick of it, action dynamic. The Wall, so much a symbol of division now, a dance floor of unity. I'm surrounded by throngs of rejoicing Germans dancing the night away. It's incredible, it's unbelievable, it's... oh, damn. Sound effects, bro. Damn. The Broadcast Journalist Guide to Reporting the Demise of the Iron Curtain. Simply the most overcharged broadcasting since Simon Bates went into a sound effects cupboard to record his round-the-world trip.
Well, I think that's Coswell, frankly.
See what's on the personal stereo.
Shut up, you ugly dick.
Oh, thanks.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the fastest dog in the world, you know it. He's our best by far. Wake up.
And a very happy and wonderful Christmas tide to you all. This is Wake RWC on the radio, your favourite daytime jock. Checking out some of the topicality from the news file. We're checking out the leading world events in the news headlines for you this week, doing a quick digest of them for you. And here we see, first of all, students' threat to banks. That's reported there. And it's just disgusting, this bullying, I call it. I think the ex-England goalkeeper should be left alone. In India this week, they had a hung parliament. Now, I know that they can get pretty violent out there, those little brown people, but to actually kill the whole parliament, that's really mighty strange and very savage behaviour. See here a London piece of news. Apparently they're planning on higher taxes to beat the smog. I've seen some of this smog stuff, and I tell you it goes pretty high, so those taxes are going to have to look pretty weird. I'd say some of them would have to be 100 feet tall and wouldn't be able to get down the small side streets anymore. And other tax news too. It's Brian Patton backs green taxes for motorists. Don't see what the colour of them is actually going to make any difference to at all. And I see here that this old guy Dabchik in Czechoslovakia, really popular guy, but maybe he's not such a good bloke. Headline last week, stirring Dabchik gives old guard notice to quit. Now, maybe he's not such a good bloke there. Obviously, don't know who this old guard is, but I'm sure he deserved more than an instant dismissal. And perhaps he's been some kind of loyal servant for several years. Come on, Dabchik. Come on, Dabby babes. Give him a new chance. And I see this, the very beginning of Pope news here today. Pope news, the account of Gorby meeting the Popey this week. And very moving it was. Just been handed this by my producer. It says here, what's that? Gorby and the Pope shook hands yesterday, and he was just telling me, actually, my producer Gus was just telling me during the last record that there's a lot of hands there in the Vatican. Things called, what are they, relics or something? And so the handshaking would have taken itself for rather a long time. And anyway, they shook hands, and this was almost certainly a prelude to the eventual adoption of full diplomatic ties. And I guess that's great. I don't know if the Pope would look any good in a tie, but just checking it out. Anyway, Wayne Carr, WC on the radio. What do you reckon? Mr. Gorbachev was flanked by an escort of rustling cassocks. They were the ones who actually started the whole Rusky Revolution in the first place, weren't they, the cassocks? And apparently the Pope there are offered gifts, a rosary and a marble icon. A marble icon just like the one I used to have, I guess. It was a bluey, and I got it in Bombsies off Ned Taylor in the 4th year at school. Okay, Wayne Carr, WC on the radio. Check it out, Wadey's Mail. And it says here, Dear Wayne, this is one of my funny village shopping stories with deaf people. It says, Dear Wayne, I was in a village shop the other day, queuing up to be served, when a deaf old man in front of me asked the assistant if she had any loaves left. The assistant ran off into the stores, and for several minutes we could hear her dashing about. When she came back, she was really puffed, and she said, Just a minute, sir, I'm out of breath. We nearly split our sides when the old man said, Well, if you're out of bread, I don't see how waiting for a minute will help. We reckon he must have been rather a deaf person. Yours, Doug. Thanks very much indeed, Doug. Wayne Carr, WC on the radio, just checking it out for you. And just a bit of traffic news for you as well. Just checking out the road there. There's a major blockage on the A6104-628 due to resurfacing on that road. Obviously, the road was built just a little bit too close to a sub-aqua club. We're checking out some of the news, some of the world, some of the travel, some of the local, national, and indeed some of the international with the best music around too, all over the wonderful capital city. And a little help from checking out some of the phone numbers too if you want to phone up, or drop me a line. All you have to do is drop me a line and write to me at this address.
What do you think of the proposals for maximising glass usage?
I think it's a good idea.
Right. Now take the glass that you drink out of.
Yes.
Which is doing the more work to hold in the drink, the inside or the outside?
I'd say the inside.
What do you think, therefore, of the proposals to cut down on the outside of glass and just keep the inside?
Yes, you could do it. Yes, that could be possible.
Would you approve, do you think?
I think, yes, I'd approve of it, yes.
I guess a significant saving could be made here.
Yes, it could be.
How much, do you think, in terms of percentage?
Oh, let's see, I'd say...
Doing away with the outside of one glass and turning it into the inside of another.
You're getting on for 100%.
100% saving?
Yeah.
And do you think it'll be a good thing?
Yes, I think so.
We say Christmas is coming quite a lot, don't we?
Yes.
But we never say Christmas is going.
No, we don't, that's true.
Can you think of 3 other things we never say?
I can't think now.
Perhaps these choices may help. Can you tell me which of these you would never say? Bug violins be with you. That's number 1. Number 2, the chirp of freshly mown beef. Number 3, good morning. And number 4, praise the Lord for small mercenaries.
Yes, I'd say that. And I'd say good morning.
So which ones wouldn't you say?
Bug violins be with you.
You wouldn't say that?
No.
And that watery-eyed, soft-faced little ball of fur that may very well be yours this Christmas. But don't forget, by mid-January, that little puppy will have become a charmless adolescent, lanky, irritating and stupid, with an overdeveloped zeal for marking its property and an uncontrollable urge to shag any profit leg. And that's when you'll decide to have him put down. Win today, and we'll provide that service absolutely free, with a choice of 3 methods. Putting your dog down, number 1.
Dog put down?
Yes, please.
Right, this way. Put him up on the table.
Right, okay.
Hold him still.
Yes.
This will all be over in a second now. Hold still there. Now. Where are your manners, you little tyke? Look at you, your tongue's lolling out, you're dribbling, you have no breeding, you have not even a rudimentary education. Look at you, you misshapen, moth-eaten little non-evolutionary byproduct, begone!
Potting your dog down, number 2, in the style of the grand comic tradition.
Oi, you doggy! Next time you pass my house, I'd be grateful.
And putting your dog down, number 3, the insult inversion.
Hey, dog.
Woof.
You know that program called Watchdog on telly?
Woof.
You know why it's called Watchdog?
Woof, woof.
Yeah, because
You look like her. You look like her. There really is no better way to have your dog put down. And if it doesn't work, we'll call at your house late at night, and like all the rest, we'll have him turn onto the fast lane of a motorway of your choice.
Getting a grip. We often talk about getting a grip, don't we?
No, never.
Ah, right.
What do you think of the persuasive idea to eat more jelly?
Well, if it was nutritious, fine, but otherwise, no.
What other foodstuffs could it save on?
Well, blancmange, I should think, or less bread.
Jugged hare?
Yes, and less,
Marzipan?
yes, and less sweets.
Indeed.
Chocolates and things.
It would, of course, be perhaps a way of governing food resources.
Yes, it would be, yes, it would.
If this is the case, given so it be, how much more jelly should we eat?
A pound a weight, then,
A pound a weight per...
per day.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the fastest joy in the world, you know it. It's our best by far. Wake up.
Okay, and wonderful Wake Up WC on the radio, your favourite daytime jock, and we're checking out some of the news and international news from the forum, the top of the hour, and our big team of journalists with the news file and the topicality. Okay, and I see here that mass protests against party in Armenia. Obviously, they have a lot of trouble over there with their parties. I wonder if they too run around going, see, mind you, out there in Armenia, I guess Armin is not the kind of guy that you ought to tangle with if he is head of the country, and I guess, you know, if he says no parties, then you just do it. Okay, Wake Up WC on the radio. See here that water shares were in the news last week. Apparently they were being scaled down. I can't see the point of that. Weird kind of pastime, really, scaling down water shares. I mean, how tall are they? You know, do you have much chance to do that? What are they made of? I thought they were made of paper, which would mean it'd be a pretty dangerous thing to scale down. And see here, Labour in a tax pledge. A Labour government, they say, would never return to penal taxation. I should think not. I agree with them on that. And that's great, because, I mean, penal taxation is a sort of taxation that I think only men have to pay, don't they? 1 in 16 Ugandans is infected by the AIDS virus. Thank God it's only there and not in this country, I say. Wayne Carr, WC on the radio. And adverts ban on holistic doctor. They've been passed just as well, because I think that any adverts for a holistic doctor should be banned. I mean, you know, I've been to one of these holistic exhibitions and there's nothing in it, right? You can't... A holistic doctor is just a... You know, it's just a trick of the light. They're not real, right? They just look real. They look sort of like, you know, real, like you can touch them, but they're not there. You can put your hand through them, these holistics, and I really just don't think they should be doctors. Okay, and we see here that that the Euro Court has decided to back animal tests. Well, that's just so cruel, isn't it, animal tests? That really is unkind. I mean, these animals, what chance have they got, you know? I mean, none of them have been educated. None of them have been to school. They wouldn't get any of it right. Ambulance union agrees to 9% pay offer. Well, that's just crazy. I mean, the guys have been on strike for long enough. Surely all of them can get the pay rise and not just 9%. That's really sad. 9%, that's about a quarter, isn't it? Just a quarter of them getting the pay offer there. Really bad news. And Mackay urges magistrates to explain sentences. That's absolutely great news, because I was in court once. I never understood why, actually. It was apparently a traffic offence, but I mean, I was going along, it was in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. I was going along at just 2 miles an hour with the window down, looking at the beaver, and I was taken in. I couldn't possibly be breaking the speed limit, but anyway, they did me. And I must admit, when I went to court there, the magistrate spoke complete double Dutch there. I didn't understand a single one of his sentences, so it's about time they got that one cleared up. Okay, Wake Up WC on the radio. Checking out your letters here in Wayne's Mail. It says here, this is Carl's Questions. It says, Dear Wayne, the other day I heard on the news of a story about a man who was going to court. Ties in rather nicely, actually, with the news there. He said he was going to file a suit. Can you explain what that means? That's from Rowan Pinge. Well, Rowan, I guess it does seem a pretty pointless thing to do, to file a suit, especially if it costs a lot of money. So I did ask a friend of mine who does work in the fashion trade, and he thought it was a very funny question. Must be the way I asked it, I guess. Sometimes that happens to me. You know, I'm a bit like Rowan Atkinson. It's just the way I say something which actually makes people laugh. And anyway, so I said to him, you know, what is the point of filing a suit? And he looked at me for a long time. Then he said, well, I guess, you know, you have to be smart in court, and if you file your suit enough, you may end up sharply dressed. So that's your answer there. Thanks for your letter, by the way. If you want to write me a letter, just write to me at this address. Okay, not to any other.
candidates to fight Ulster seats. I know they may be Irish, but actually launching an attack on the thing you're sitting on strikes me as pretty damn stupid. Wayne Carr, WC on the radio, and we're checking out the wonderful charge of local, national, and international dial with the ferret on the radio. So we see here that 600 square. This is a tragic story, I have to say. This has filled me with a lot of sadness and sort of lumps in my throat when I read this. 600 squirrels died at the airport. That's just sad. Just so sad. See that the RSPCA are calling for new government policy for animals in transit. I have to say that I couldn't fit very many animals in my transit. Still got it back at home. Used to use it for gigs quite a lot. All I could fit was a 2K rig and a couple of bimbos. Wake up, WC on the radio. Good morning. And we see here also that the poor are getting poorer. That's the finding in a low pay report. I say, well, hang on a minute. There've got to be some people poor, right? Otherwise, if you're rich, like me, then you wouldn't know you were rich unless there were poor people to compare yourself to. So I say keep the poor poor, because at least they're used to it. Okay, and consul to see journalist held in IRA queue. That's a weird story there. What's an IRA queue? But what? We're just having a word with the producer. What? Iraq. Well, why can't they spell it properly? Just terrible. Come on, newspapers, get it together. Jordan holds first ballot in 20 years. Must say myself, I'm not much of a fan of that ballot stuff. The music's a bit dull, there's no beat, and all that poncing around on tiptoes. Really very unnecessary and so dull. Not exactly Pad's people, is it, ballot? And I see here the new plans for London's Covent Garden include retaining a floral hall. That's great. I just wonder if they're going to use one of these new drug halls that we keep hearing so much about in the news. Wade Carr, WC on the radio. Also checking out your letters to Wadey's Inquiries. And this is Wade'll Fix It. Here's a Wade'll Fix It letter. Dear Wade, can you fix it for me to be a pope? That's signed from Jamie Todd, age 7. Well, Jamie, yep, I think it's pretty easy. All you have to do is go get yourself one of those Pope application forms. Then you fill it in, and you just go along to the what? Stop interrupting us. My producer says, you what? You'll need a CV. Though the guy's 7, I don't think he can even drive. So that's no help. Come on. And anyway, so you fill in the form, and then you've got to go get some Pope clothes, some of those girly stuff, you know, go to a shop like Pope at CNA or something, and then, I guess, and then you go to the Pope Castle and get interviewed. It's a cinch, although there is apparently some competition. There's lots of other clerics around there. Have to do quite a lot of bishop beating, I think, to get there. Okay, so there you are, Jamie. That's how to become the Pope. And remember, apparently, he doesn't like hair ticks. And I don't blame him for what I've heard. They could give you a nasty bite.
What do you think of making a few more round things?
Well, could be better than angler in some places, isn't it?
In what areas in particular do you think this would be a success?
Could be probably in buildings.
Bullseye. Do you think round things generally are good for our way of life?
Better for safety, I should think. Spirals are fire escapes.
What about the point of view of movability?
Yes, yes.
Better for pets, I suppose, generally.
Yes.
And good for gymnasts?
Yes.
And the manufacturers of bicycles?
Yes.
So how many more round things do you think we should aim to make this year alone?
Well, more than in the past, but
more than in the
not
past.
total, no.
Not totally more, so we're aiming at an optimum number.
No, that's right.
What would that number be?
2,000 or 3,000, I suppose.
2.
No, I agree with that.
Why not?
Well, I think that most modern housing sites should be away from all that. I mean, I go along with the idea...
Away from all the chickens and their influences. Wait a minute, he didn't start off, did he? We didn't hear the beginning of that. This must have happened actually while I was running around. I was on the M4 for 6 hours last night. I'll tell you about it later, shall I? Here's today's feedback report number 2. All right, this is a real one. What do you think of this brand new idea of residential chickens?
What, battery hens?
Absolutely right. Quite specifically, integrating battery hens with modern housing development schemes.
No, I agree with that.
Why not?
Well, I think that most modern housing sites should be away from all that. I mean, I go along with the idea...
Away from all the chickens and their influences.
That's right.
Why? Do you think it leads to a decline in social behaviour?
Yeah, definitely.
What's the biggest evil that a chicken inflicts in terms of its influence?
Well, the fact that just brings the tone of the neighbourhood then, that's all.
So if that tone started off as a middle C, do you think it would get down as far as bottom E flat?
I probably would, yeah.
I'll let you know what's happening, Star.
possible to get by without one, and very soon you'll need it all year round. Yes, it's the comprehensive guide to the January sales, with in-depth interviews. Hello, I'm an expert, am I? And I reckon that by 1993, they'll be starting in October, you know. Opinions from you the punter, i.e. a thick and stupid man on the street. January sales? Yes, shocking. It's absolutely disgusting they should consider selling a month. Plus, your guide to retailer sale terminology. Is this $14.99 shirt in a half-price sale? Oh, yes, sir. Oh, I'll have that, please. That'll be $29.98 then, please. But it's in a half-price sale. That's right, there's a sale where we show you half the price. And how to get your own back on those storeholders who've left you less than grumbled.
Can I get to...
Have you got a sale on?
Yes, we have.
Have you got major reductions on all stock then?
Yes, yeah.
So, with a size 16 shirt...
You want a size 15 shirt after major reduction?
Yeah, how big would it end up? After the reduction?
What do you mean?
About the size of your hand?
Yeah, about the size of your hand.
Well, that sort of reduction's nothing but a disgrace, mate. I'm going to have to report you to the Shirt Council, okay?
Okay.
Yes, it's your complete guide to the January sales, with an amusing foreword from Russ Abbott's scriptwriter, who says he thinks the best place to find a half-price sale is in the bargain basement at the Yacht Chandler.
Chris Morris.
This report does the rounds sort of every 2 years. Somebody says that you can be deafened by listening to personal stereos. Came out last week. And the idea was that manufacturers should introduce a red light system on personal stereos so that you can tell if you're actually at a damaging level. It's something like a prolonged period, listening for a prolonged period at above 90 decibels. It seems to be a complete miscalculation to me, because surely this will have the same effect as, you know, people will be kind of red lighting their stereos, like they red line the tachometer on their car, and they'll be sort of, like, oh yeah, yes, look, I'm red lighting, man. Yeah, what are you on? Well, someone with that 107 decibels, me. Yeah, but your red light's flashing. Yeah, I know, my dad likes fishing every Saturday. No, your red light's flashing. Yeah, no, I haven't got headlights. No, your red light's flashing. Oh, yeah, dead nice. Yeah, flashy, innit? Yeah, that's right. What?
Do you remember?
We're looking today at leaning on people. Do you think it's a good idea?
Well, it all depends on circumstances. I mean, some people need people to lean on. They need a prop.
What sort of people are the best sort to lean on?
Very often older people with experience, strong people, reliable people.
And where do you think the pressure is applied?
Well, head, I would think.
The head? With both hands?
Possibly.
So let's say if you're leaning on someone for advice, what sort of angle do you think you're leaning on them at?
Oh, probably about 10 degrees, I would think.
And what sort of pressure in pounds per square inch?
25?
On their nut?
Yeah.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's a nice day in the world, you know it. He's our best by far. Wake up.
Okay, a wonderful Wake Up, WC on the radio. Just checking out some of the news, local, national, and international from the news file and the topicality. And I see here that Lithuanians split, accepted by Gorbachev, as reported in the papers last week. Well, there you have it. I didn't know he was an ice cream fan, but now we do. £8 million Matisse works stolen. Weird, that, because... well, I never called it work before. You know, I love drinking the stuff, but I've never called it work. I just thought it was pink and bubbly. New oil slick threatens as storm hits whole tanker. That's the Iranian tanker there, Karg 5. I guess that's the sixth in the series that started Karg O. Anyway, what I say is don't worry about the oil slick, and don't worry about any oil slicks, because if you just think about it for a moment, how pretty it is when you go out on a rainy day and you see a puddle with oil on the surface. Doesn't that just look wonderful? Nice and blue and green with a sort of metallic tinge. I just love that. That's great. And an oil slick is really just a bigger version of the same thing. So it's nothing to worry about. Lovely and pretty. And if I were you, I'd see if I could get someone to take an aerial photograph. Okay, Wake Up, WC on the radio. And I see here, great news. This prison suicide rate rises by 81%. Probably the best news of the week. Because I think I'm right in saying that the prisons are overcrowded. So it's just great if that happens. And here, Young refuses to discuss Rover sale with MPs. Well, I mean, I'd be pretty ashamed, and I'd refuse to discuss it if I'd been caught trying to sell the family dog. And curbs urged on cowboy homes for old people. I guess it is some small source of comfort to them if they find that if they buy a cowboy home, it does at least have a decent pavement. Okay, Wayne Carr, WCO on the radio, and here's some of your letters. Here's an amusing shop story. It says, Dear Wayne, I was queuing at the fish shop the other day when the shopkeeper had to go into the back of the shop. Well, while he was out, 3 men came in and nicked some fish. When he came back, he noticed the missing items and he said to the man at the front of the queue, Did you pinch my fish? The man replied, No, I haven't moved a muscle. I tell you, Wayne, we couldn't breathe. Isn't that funny? Yours, Jimmy Nelp. Well, I guess if you find a guy standing still at the front of a queue and saying in so many words that he is standing still funny, then yeah, I guess so. And here's another one. Dear Wayne, I was in a bed shop the other day and I heard the assistant say to a customer, Do you want a spring mattress? And the man replied, No, I want one I can use all year round. That's from Cuthbert Gill. Thanks, Cuthbert. Yeah, I guess I laughed at that one too. Yeah, obviously he should have said yeah. I don't know, it's amazing the mistakes some people make. And here's a story from last week's news. Apparently, personal stereos can make you go deaf. Right, so using a Walkman of any sort can make you go deaf. And me and the producer got together and we put together a little sketch. We put a call through to somebody.